How's it going? This is a difficult concept here. The discussion here is absolute reckoning of reality. Now, the idea here is perfection elusive? Are there times when we may reach perfection? Well, the idea is no. Can we reach a perfect idea, perfect concept, perfect processes? Yeah. Yes, we could. We could do that. So, absolute reckoning. When we hit all the absolutes. Okay. Well, what that would say is, we take this logic, right? Okay. The exact word in the exact order, with exact words in the exact order, that's perfection. Absolute reckoning. So, could we get there? Well, we sure could. We sure could. The idea is those exact words in the exact order strengthen our logic and reasoning centers over time. Just like that. We rattle them off. Is that fine? Right, that is fine. That's called standardizing life. That's an interesting idea. Is that possible? Are we just wavelengths floating around in some strange type of nth dimension of space? Well, whether or not that's true or not, that is beside the point. Okay. When we use absolute reckoning, logical usage, and processes, okay, what we have here, it's interesting. Trump said stable genius. Well, you could, yeah, or you could be. Well, that you have a dead reckoning of life and reality in the genius range. Sure, that's I don't think it's 100% possible, but sure try your best to get there, right? Uh, so I was thinking about that and kind of tipped off this conversation here. So yeah, okay. So you get to the most stable thoughts that are indivisible thoughts with exact usages, exact words in the exact order, indivisible. Right. That's what I'm trying to get to. Well, sure. You know, that's the idea. This idea that people come up with these crazy schemes for spirituality. You wonder who comes up with these schemes, right? We're all just spirits. Ooh, we're all spirits. We're all wavy and fuzzy. You don't need that logic. Stop thinking about logic. Stop think. Excuse me. Start thinking about the higher static of spirituality. Of what kind of spirituality? You know, where are they going with that? Is it just feel good and have a big fuzzy buzzy brain that has a violent aversion to logic? You know, I talk about reading to people, and some of these people actually seem to get hostile to reading. You know, that's the stooge brain at work. You know, that's going to make these people think. They don't like that. They're not blissful in their ignorance. They just would rather go through life with a superficial idea, concept. Hopefully they get the concept. Not really. Just ideas strung together. I've covered this before, right? But yeah, it's so important. This idea. People will not do anything for themselves. Pure mental laziness, you know. Balance a checkbook, you know. That's just too much. Kind of. You know. Met people like that. You know, their lives are chaos. And they like it that way. Because then they absolve themselves and there's no responsibility. Right? We all know this as adults and met people like this. But there's 3 stages of mental laziness, you know. There's the bastardized person, you know, and then worse, and that's the easiest. Oh, that's the least severe. That is the least severe thought right there on mental laziness. Bastardized. Okay. Then comes the mental sloth, which, you know, kind of the person that would put their hand in the cookie jar of knowledge and fall asleep. There's an old proverb about that. Someone puts their hand in the jar and falls asleep while their hand is in the jar. Kind of like sitting on the couch, putting their hand in a bag of potato chips. And they fall asleep with their hand in the potato chips and, you know, food all over them and drool coming out of their mouth. There's a mental equivalent of that, right? So, and then at the final stage, oh man, I think I'm forgetting. Okay, so we have the slothful person, and then we have, I guess you say, incorrigibly mentally lazy. That's a slavery condition. I revoke all of your good things. I'm in continuous revocation of you, to revocate myself and to what they call born along in slavery. Alright. I shackle myself to the wall. And that all fits in with these concepts here. The further we can define life and get the metric and scope of life, the further we get away from mental laziness. It's very important because it's not a society, but a civilization. We don't. James Orwell, right? Just keep stepping away from truth, and the more we begin to hate the people that speak it. You can see backbiting, conniving, All those things, all classifications. Oh, look at that. Right. It's all to say it. All classifications of evil spring from people getting away from standardized thinking. So, logic and their usages, processes, figuring things out, writing them down, trying to perfect them, making those things standards. We're having a real problem. In the 40s, there was much more standardized thought. It seems like the disconnect has happened. Media has become more subversive and more heinous. It's just they're really trying to make slaves out of everybody by making people run down to the lowest common denominator. Inasmuch we then have this situation where no one's thinking for themselves. They go to college, and there's subversion in college, there's subversion in middle school, there's subversion in high school. Not so much. Uh, you know, um, it's interesting how that works. But the idea is, it's not a partisan issue here. It's not about, Republicans versus Democrats, in my view. It's about science, scientism. That we have people that are movie stars and politicians, and now they're becoming the same thing, right? We don't seem to have a clear-cut definition of the intellectual, the studious person, and his or her job is to study, right? Okay, so we have senators and representatives. No, they don't really get the qualification for intellectual. Anyhow, so then they're not very studious. I don't know what the hell they're doing, but they're not studying in depth and asking deep and disturbing questions, regarding the nature of humanity, philosophical conclaves. It just, wow, we've got a lot of trucks in politics. The thing is, we're being spoon-fed by the media, and technology is making it worse. We're not, books are just a click away these days. Articles on science and everything else are just one click away, and somehow it's not happening. We have everything at our fingertips, yet we throw it away. And then want to, instead of improve the Constitution, we want to replace it with the Communist Manifesto. That, to me, is absolutely insane on the absolute scale. Insanity on the absolute scale. As in, you can't go any further than that with an insane action or stupid action. Well, that's terrible. So remember, the point is, can you be perfect? Well, can your brain be perfect? Well, what is a perfect brain anyhow? You know, we're talking about maxing out neurons and whatever, being super genius and all venues and avenues of intellectualism. Okay, so if we have people around like that, we should find them, even if they're all the way around the world. Hey, bribe them. Would you like to come to America? Or come on over. Whatever. Give them a professorship somewhere, and then make sure that they're part of the dialogue of civilization. Well, yeah, super genius, part of civilization. It's like a baseline reference right there. You know, those people should be a baseline reference to everything, because their ability to discriminate, to delineate, distinguish, demoniate, whatever it may be, right? So, there's 8 of them. If you can get around to 8 of them, man, wow, you're real hot stuff, mentally. And furthermore, where are those people? Are we encouraging people that get all that stuff? Get extreme definition on life and reality? Are those people part of the government? You know, um, probably. There's probably some people out there, that get all this stuff. You know, that's interesting. One said he was a Rhodes. No, he's a Rhodes Scholar. That's interesting. A Rhodes Scholar is up on the sevens, on the dimes, and the sevens and the slip 11s of consciousness. We all know who that was. He just threw it out there. But then apparently, he didn't go into the turns and burns and learns and ferns and worms of, genius, right? So, I think that's real boo-boo myself. I'm running out of things to talk to you. This is almost 18 minutes long. Bong. 18 minutes. Desi Oak. Thank you.